And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either. So once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it. But you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
Jake Paul recently claimed that he destroyed Conor McGregor, or at least that's how he sees it. While casually chatting on a podcast with Logan Paul, Jake boldly stated that McGregor avoided fighting him because he thinks Jake is too strong.
My life is my life. Your life is your life. I'm going to take these opportunities. When we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another.
When it's convenient for you, we're brothers, but then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, we're completely separate, so like I'm going to do what I'm going to do as well.
Seriously, what's that supposed to mean? Is Jake throwing a subtle jab at his own brother by implying he's the weaker choice, or is he so wrapped up in himself that he honestly thinks people make decisions just to avoid his supposed dominance?
Why doesn't he just get in the ring with you?
But that's what I was saying is he's on Twitter, he's on his yacht, he's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me.
Here's the reality check Jake seems to have missed. Conor McGregor has been dominating the fight world for over 16 years. The guy doesn't even need to throw a punch. His cauliflower ear alone could probably get more likes than Jake's whole fight reel. But hey, credit where it's due, Jake's confidence is off the charts. Let's break down this circus, shall we?
McGregor making headlines, but not for an octagon return. So the rumors of a bout are false. I'm a preliminary agreements with the Ambani family to face Logan Paul in a boxing exhibition in India. I've agreed I will then seek my return to the octagon.
As soon as Jake caught wind of this big announcement, he jumped right into action, doing what he does best, stirring the pot. Conor's washed, he said, as casually as if he were talking about the weather. And just to add some drama, he followed it up with, he needs the pause for relevance. Because why settle for a jab when you can throw a full-on uppercut, right?
And Conor McGregor can say what he wants, but he won't fight me either, so...
But hey, let's give Jake some credit. There's a point hiding under all that bravado. McGregor, once the undisputed king of the fight world, hasn't exactly been putting together highlight reels lately. It's been years since he had a win that actually meant something. Jake believes Conor's just holding on to the last bits of a reputation that's fading faster than a cheap tattoo.
Obviously, I don't think he's ready to be back in the UFC. I think he will get his ass kicked thoroughly.
Yep.
These fighters are elite. They take this very seriously, and their definition of being in shape and ready to fight isn't bloating themselves up with muscles and looking good in the mirror.
And here's the real head-scratcher. Of all the people Conor could face, why pick someone whose boxing resume is about as serious as a TikTok dance challenge? Of course, Jake has a theory. He thinks McGregor's playing it safe, taking the easiest route. And according to Jake, by doing that, Conor's actually ruining his legacy.
My life is my life. Your life is your life. I'm going to take these opportunities. When we as brothers no longer become additive to each other, and it feels like you or I are trying to take from one another.
When it's convenient for you, we're brothers, but then when it's not, you do the exact opposite of like, we're completely separate, so like I'm going to do what I'm going to do as well.
And because Jake Paul never settles for just one MIC drop, he went straight for the jugular with a bold counterclaim. Apparently, McGregor initially wanted to fight him, that's right, Jake Paul, not Logan. But somewhere along the way, McGregor allegedly switched things up. Why? According to Jake, it's because Conor doesn't have what it takes to face him, no skills, no grit, no confidence, just an empty whiskey bottle and some faded memories of past glory. So, instead, Conor took the safer route and went for Logan. Jake's verdict? Irrelevant.
He's on cocaine, but he's not in the ring with me. And so until he does that, I don't want to hear any more shit.
Wait, what's the injury again? He broke a toe?
But Jake didn't just throw out insults and walk away. Oh no, he set the stage for a showdown that could take hype to a whole new level. If McGregor wants to face him, Jake made it crystal clear, it's going to be on his terms. He called out Dana White and the UFC to make it official. No shady deals, no under-the-table contracts, just big money, big lights, and big stakes. And honestly, it's a masterstroke. Jake's basically calling Conor's bluff. If McGregor still thinks he's the king, why wouldn't he step up? Unless, of course, Jake's right, and Conor's not ready for a real fight.
Yeah, he's a broken man, but he's entertaining, and that's why I still like Conor McGregor. But
no, he's the most entertaining. He's the most entertaining.
And so is Ryan Garcia, but they're both crashed out cokeheads.
Come on, there's a big difference.
I don't know.
Let's break it down. McGregor's last meaningful win was all the way back in January 2020. Remember that 40-second knockout of Donald Cerrone? Sure, it was flashy, but since then? Nothing. The so-called notorious one has been, well, notoriously absent from the winner's circle. Fast forward to 2021, and McGregor faces Dustin Poirier, not once, but twice, and gets handed back-to-back losses. The trilogy fight? That was the cherry on top, ending with McGregor snapping his leg like a twig in the first round. And that injury? It sidelined him for over 3 years.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah.
It's an exhibition. It isn't Jake Paul training with professional boxers, essentially being a professional boxer, but getting in the ring with non-boxers or geriatrics.
And as if that wasn't enough, there's the Michael Chandler fiasco. McGregor's big UFC comeback was set for June 2024. Fans were excited, the media hype was off the charts, and then, poof, he pulled out just 2 weeks before the fight. No explanation, no reschedule, just another question mark in a career that's starting to look more like a quiz than a legacy. Jake Paul, of course, didn't waste any time calling him out, painting McGregor as unreliable and completely out of touch with the sport he once ruled. Now, let's flip the script to Jake Paul.
And not only that, Michael Chandler has been calling him out forever. Desperately wants his hands on Conor McGregor because he knows that would be a big fight, obviously, and it's something that he wants, and that hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen Conor McGregor win a fight. I mean, he beat Donald Cerrone, Cowboy Cerrone. Cerrone looked like a deer in headlights, as I pointed out that night.
Say what you will about Jake, but he's not just staying relevant, he's thriving. He's been headlining major events, taking on legit opponents, and most importantly, delivering. Remember his knockout of Ben Askren in 2021? Or when he went the distance with Anderson Silva in 2022? And let's not forget his recent win over Mike Tyson in 2024. Jake's not just sticking around, he's dominating the game. Meanwhile, McGregor's legacy is starting to feel like a dusty old trophy sitting on a shelf that no one even looks at anymore.
Once I knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it, but you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
And then there's Logan Paul. Of all the people McGregor could choose for his return to boxing, why Logan? Jake's got an answer, and it's just as sharp as you'd expect. Logan's boxing record might look good on the surface, but it's pretty hollow when you look closer. Sure, there's the 2019 draw with KSI and the exhibition against Floyd Mayweather in 2021, but let's be honest, those were more about the spectacle than the sport. Logan's resume is lighter than air, making him the perfect opponent for a McGregor who can't afford another loss. It's not about the challenge, it's about playing it safe.
You can box. Stop fighting people that ain't on your level. That's not right. Enough of that. He said, true, I know I got stuff to prove. I got to get in there. Enough of that.
Yeah.
This is not what Logan Paul's doing. Logan Paul's an entertainer who's gotten in the ring a few times.
Yeah.
But he's an entertainer. Conor McGregor is not a boxer. He just got in a boxing ring once.
Jake didn't hold back here. Logan beats him however he wants, he said, brushing off the fight as nothing more than a puffed-up exhibition. For Jake, this isn't McGregor taking on Logan out of love for competition. No, it's McGregor holding on to relevance like a guy clutching the last slice of pizza at a party. It's calculated, sure, but it reeks of desperation. Now, let's dive into the mess, starting with McGregor's legal issues. Back in 2018, he was found liable for assaulting a woman named Nikita Hand at a Dublin hotel. This wasn't some quiet, forgettable scandal, it was courtroom drama plastered all over the tabloids. And sadly, it was just the beginning. Over the years, McGregor's personal life has been a constant source of tabloid headlines, assaults, outbursts, questionable tweets. It's like he's more focused on the chaos than on his career.
For all the wrong reasons, and then now to
Without
return
question.
for this, I just feel like it hurts his legacy.
Well, wait a minute. He ain't think about no damn legacy. He ain't come back to the States. His brother in India. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? They ain't think about that. They ain't think about any of that
what do you
stuff.
mean?
I'm just saying, they're not thinking about it in India. He going to get the money.
And that's why Jake Paul isn't playing games this time. He's drawn a line in the sand, and if Conor McGregor wants to cross it, Dana White and the UFC need to be part of the deal. By bringing the UFC into the mix, Jake isn't just raising the stakes, he's putting a spotlight on McGregor's current situation. And here's the kicker, if McGregor hesitates or backs out, Jake's already planted the seed in everyone's mind. Fear. Now, let's talk about the F word, fear. It's not something you'd typically associate with McGregor, the guy who built an empire on fearlessness and bravado. But Jake's flipping the script. He's asking the question that everyone's been too polite or too scared to ask. Why would a fighter like McGregor, once the ultimate risk taker, avoid stepping into a UFC-sanctioned fight with Jake? Jake's answer is simple, Conor doesn't want the smoke. He's had a rough few years, injuries, losses, court cases, and the last thing he needs is a fight that could expose just how far his star has fallen.
I'm not talking about what they're deciding.
I don't know if he cares. I don't know if he cares.
He doesn't.
I don't think he cares.
You don't think it hurts his legacy?
I don't think he cares.
No, I'm asking you. Do you think it?
I think his legacy has been hurt, Shannon, over the last few years getting his ass kicked.
And Jake? He's not just all talk. His track record speaks for itself. Love him or hate him, he's been shaking up the fight world in ways that leave purists fuming and audiences glued to their screens. Jake turned combat sports into his personal playground, pulling big names like Ben Askren and Tyron Woodley into his orbit. Let's be real, they didn't sign up because they were bored, but the bigger question is this: what does McGregor even want from his career anymore? Is he trying to rebuild, climb the UFC ranks, and reclaim his throne? Or is he content with this strange limbo of headline-grabbing exhibitions and social media scraps? Jake Paul's rise has turned these questions from whispers into full-blown debates.
He said, with him, I'm going to. He said he's a striker. He's used to clipping people. He said, I'm going to be in his chest. He's going to have to push me off and then swing. He said, plus he's going to have to circle around backwards to gain leverage to punch. He said by about the third or fourth round, his legs are going to be gone and he'll be target practice. He said, I'll keep him around until like the 8th or the 9th round for entertainment purposes, and then I'll finish him.